It provides this incredible contrast.
It's a remarkable duality, isn't it?
It really is. On one side, we've got the strategic infrastructure of high-stakes political communication. This firm, it's called Pivotal Voice.
Right. And on the other side,
We have a project that's associated with them, a hyper-local effort aimed, squarely at transparency for voters.
in Ellis County, Texas, with this leadership podcast they run.
Exactly. So for you, our listener, if you want to understand how strategic communication really works in today's civic and political landscape, well, our mission here is to synthesize these two worlds
We have to break down what Pivotal Voice does, the high-level services they provide to leaders.
and then analyze that strategic pivot. Why is that same expertise being used to create this independent, informed discussion at such a local level?
I think the material really forces us to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when the art of crafting a completely unmissable message meets the goal of genuine, accessible transparency? I mean, they're both about clarity and influence, but for totally different reasons.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the commercial side, the engine room. Pivotal Voice.
Yeah.
Their identity is summed up in three very powerful words: command, influence, lead.
I mean, that is a highly aggressive positioning for a public relations firm.
It is, and it signals who they're for, right?
Immediately. This isn't general marketing. It's strategic PR tailored for, political figures, public servants, advocacy group.
People whose every word is basically under a microscope.
Exactly. And their whole core promise is about helping those leaders strike the right tone at the right time.
But here's the key phrase that, for me, introduces a little intellectual friction.
Let me guess. With precision and neutrality.
That's the one.
Well, that phrase, that's the strategic selling point.
Yeah.
It suggests they see themselves less as, partisan spin doctors and more as strategic technicians. They understand the mechanics of communication, no matter who the client is.
So they're selling the skill to be clear in what the sources call a crowded marketplace.
Yes.
But that raises a question for me right away. How does a firm stay genuinely neutral when its whole business model depends on making sure specific clients are powerful enough to command attention?
To become unmissable.
Yeah. They're positioning their clients to win.
That is the tightrope they have to walk. And the way they define their value, at least in these documents, is by the quality of the strategic infrastructure they provide.
So things like media training, PR campaigns.
Right. Expert-led media training, strategic PR, and what they call thought leadership development. It's about providing the full toolkit to elevate a voice from all the noise. They're selling elevation, not ideology.
Okay, so let's dig into those specific offerings. This is where we get past the mission statement and into the nuts and bolts.
The execution.
And the firm, they package their services with these really punchy, memorable names.
Which is brilliant PR in and of itself, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's designed for maximum impact.
Yeah, the naming is very intentional. It communicates confidence. You look at something like Media Mastery, they frame it as moving a client from fearing interviews to owning them.
But what are they really selling there? It's more than just confidence coaching.
Oh, it's rapid scenario planning. It's message discipline under extreme pressure.
Right. It's the difference between just memorizing talking points and really internalizing a framework. So no matter what question you get, you can pivot back to your core message.
Exactly. And then you have speaker development.
Which is focused on crafting words that move minds and win hearts.
See, that's not just speech writing. That's narrative architecture.
Narrative architecture. I like that.
And if you look at their four main service areas, you can see they're doing two things at once. They're building an offensive capability for amplification.
Yeah, and a defensive shield for reputation. Let's talk about that defense first. Reputation management and crisis communications.
Absolutely. I mean, these are just non-negotiables for anyone in public life today.
So reputation management is the proactive part.
Yes. That's the constant monitoring, the strategic positioning you need to do to stay ahead of controversy, to maintain that bedrock of trust.
But crisis communications, that feels like where the real technical challenge is.
It is. Because in our digital world, a crisis response isn't measured in days or even hours anymore. It's milliseconds.
So they're basically selling the speed and the discipline you need to control the narrative in that first, say, 90-minute window.
Before a misstep or an attack just solidifies online. They help clients respond swiftly, strategically, without losing public trust.
It's like a digital insurance policy for a public figure.
It is. And then the offensive side is where they build that core message.
Okay, so like the speech writing and messaging service.
Exactly. They promise to deliver memorable messages that move people and build momentum. It's all about distillation
Taking really complex policy,
and condensing it into emotional, action-oriented language that people actually remember.
which then flows right into their digital and social media strategy.
It has to. It's not enough to just have a great message. You have to get it to the right people.
Thoughtfully and with precision to build that influence and credibility online.
And it's comprehensive. I mean, it covers everything from commanding the news cycle to making sure a leader's name is, synonymous with integrity.
Something that stood out to me, and you're right to flag it as important, are the quantitative metrics they use, the success metrics.
Yeah, they claim, what is it, an 80% success metric for reputation and crisis strategy?
And an even more ambitious 90% for messaging and digital influence?
So why are those numbers so important for, say, a political figure? It's not just about bragging.
No, it's not.
It transforms this intangible thing, PR advice, into a measurable, sellable commodity.
Right. Political life is all about risk, and these numbers are a form of assurance.
Absolutely. For a candidate who's trying to get endorsements, or maybe an advocacy group looking for funding, these metrics signal professionalism, reliability.
It's telling potential backers, look, we don't just talk about strategy.
We deliver results that protect the power of your name and command the headlines.
Hmm.
It validates spending the money on this kind of high-level consulting.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We've just established Pivotal Voice is this high-stakes commercial firm. It's all about empowering individual leaders.
Right.
Now, all that expertise gets applied to a very specific, very local civic project.
The Ellis County Leadership Podcast.
This is the pivot.
And it's the strategic link between that high-level communication and grassroots democracy. Pivotal Voice founded this podcast in Texas with a very explicit non-commercial mission.
To be a nonpartisan platform.
A nonpartisan platform, yeah, for thoughtful, in-depth conversations about their local community.
So why? Why pivot all that expertise to focus so intensely on local government in just one county in Texas?
Because local leadership has a huge daily impact on people's lives.
Much more than national politics a lot of the time.
Way more. And yet it's often the least covered by the media. The sources are really clear on this. The decisions made at the county and city level on things like property taxes, zoning, schools, public safety.
All of that affects residents way more immediately.
Exactly. They're filling an accountability gap that's been left as local news has shrunk.
And the podcast's stated goal is, it's simple, but it's so crucial. Create informed dialogue that empowers residents to make confident, educated decisions about local leadership.
Get beyond the 30-second soundbite.
Get beyond the campaign slogan.
And, for the firm itself, running a project like this also serves a strategic purpose.
How so?
It establishes their brand as a responsible civic player, it builds local goodwill, and it shows a real commitment to transparency. It creates this kind of brand halo.
A halo that doesn't come from selling a service,
but from providing a resource.
Let's talk about the scope of who they interview, because it shows they're really trying to paint a complete picture of how the community is governed, not just, who's running for office.
That's right. The guest list is incredibly comprehensive. It has candidates, sure, for county, state, local offices, but it also includes appointed leaders, key figures from local businesses, from nonprofits, community advocates. They're building a whole tapestry of leadership.
Not just a candidate forum.
No.
And they don't shy away from the tough topics, the complex, sometimes polarizing subjects.
In fact, they explicitly commit to discussing them. And this is where that commitment to structured, facts-focused dialogue really gets put to the test.
It does. They list these specific themes that just show how complex local governance is.
And they tackle issues that have high emotional resonance everywhere, like election integrity and civic trust.
But they also get into the really practical, wallet and neighborhood issues.
Oh, yeah, like the constant tension around growth, zoning, and development.
And the perennial hot-button topics, property taxes and county budgets.
And they ground it all in the social fabric of the community. They list public safety and policing, and also justice, accountability, and the local courts.
Choosing those issues, that's a deliberate strategy.
Of course. They're making sure that if you listen, you're not just getting partisan talking points. You are getting an education in comprehensive community governance.
The goal seems to be to let voters really see the guests' perspectives, their values.
Beyond the glossy campaign flyer.
Which brings us to their operational principles, the things they rely on to maintain credibility, especially when they're talking about these tough issues.
The show has to be fair. It has to be seen as fair.
Right.
And the documents, they stress four key principles: nonpartisan, independent, respectful, and fact-focused.
Those are the guardrails.
Those are the guardrails designed to combat political bias. The whole platform is built on giving equal opportunity for candidates and leaders to make their case.
And they're transparent about the relationship between the PR firm and the content, which is so vital when the parent company is in the business of commercial influence.
It's the crucial firewall. The source material explicitly has a transparency note.
What does it say?
It says, participation does not imply endorsement.
Simple as that.
And that's the mechanism designed to protect the integrity of the Civic platform from the commercial interests of Pivotal Voices consulting work. They provide the stage, but they stay neutral on what's said on it.
So what does this all mean?
I think what we've synthesized here is a really profound look at the strategic duality of influence in the digital age.
Okay.
You have Pivotal Voice, the firm. It focuses on crafting an armored, clear, powerful message for leaders.
Making sure that voice can dominate the marketplace.
Exactly. And at the same time, the Ellis County Leadership Podcast uses that same strategic expertise to make sure the public gets the full spectrum of local information.
Transparently and accessibly.
Right.
It really highlights the immense preparation that's required of public figures now. You can't just be an expert in policy.
No, you have to be a master of communication under constant high-pressure scrutiny.
But I think maybe more importantly, this deep dive shows the tactical effort that's needed to inject structured, impartial information back into a local democracy.
A democracy that so often suffers from information fatigue.
It does. We've seen the clear line between that high-stakes PR consulting, which is designed to make a voice unmissable, and the commitment to nonpartisan dialogue for citizens.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. When strategic communication is engineered to be perfectly crafted, compelling, and utterly unmissable, how much deliberate, conscious effort does it really take for a citizen to filter all that out and prioritize the essential facts they need to know beyond the carefully constructed narrative?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
That is the challenge of civic literacy in the age of precision messaging.